Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine yourself at 65 years old. You have worked hard all your life. You followed every rule that society gave you. You went to school. You got a job. You saved a little. You invested a little. And now, finally, you have money. But there is a problem. Your body is weak. Your dreams have faded. And the time to enjoy wealth is almost gone. This is what M.J. DeMarco calls wealth in a wheelchair. It is the promise of the slow lane. Get rich slow is another way of saying get rich old. But here is the truth. You do not need to wait a lifetime to enjoy financial freedom. There is another road, a faster road, a road where you can live rich now, where wealth is not just money, but freedom, health, and the power to live life on your own terms. This is the fast lane. In this book, DeMarco shows us the 3 roads to wealth. The sidewalk, where poverty and struggle live. The slow lane, where mediocrity and delayed dreams wait. And the fast lane, where true financial freedom can be created in years, not decades. So let us begin the journey. And the first step is to uncover the lie that has trapped millions. Welcome to Part 1. Wealth in a Wheelchair. Part 1. Wealth in a Wheelchair. Get rich slow is get rich old. Part 1 opens the door to a reality most people never want to face. You have been taught since childhood that wealth comes slowly. Work hard. Save a little. Invest patiently. Wait until you are old. Society calls this wisdom, but DeMarco calls it a trap. This is the road that most people walk. It promises safety, but it delivers delay. It teaches patience, but steals your life. By the time you reach true financial freedom, decades of your best years may already be gone. In this part, we will explore how the world has deceived you about money, how conventional advice about jobs, saving, and retirement creates a slow, painful road to wealth that few ever complete, and how you can recognize the lies, the traps, and the false promises that keep most people living paycheck to paycheck. By the end of this part, you will understand why waiting for wealth is not just inefficient, it is dangerous. And it is time to open your eyes to a better way. Next, we will dive into the first chapter, The Great Deception, where DeMarco reveals the myths about money that most people never question. Chapter 1. The Great Deception. Most people believe that wealth is earned slowly. They are told to go to school, get a job, save a little, and invest over decades. This is the slow lane. It promises safety. It promises eventual comfort. But it delivers something else. It delivers old age and regret. DeMarco calls this the Great Deception. Society has created a story that keeps people trapped. Work hard for 40 years. Save 10% of your income. Invest in mutual funds. Retire when you are 65. Live happily ever after. But here's the truth. This plan rarely works. Most people never reach financial freedom. Most people never experience real wealth. By the time they do, their health, energy, and time have already declined. The deception is everywhere. Schools teach it, parents teach it, financial experts teach it. Even the media teaches it. They tell you to be patient. They tell you to avoid risks. They tell you to settle. But patience alone does not create wealth. Time alone does not create wealth. Working for someone else does not create wealth. The truth is that the slow lane trades your most valuable asset, time, for money. And time is the one thing you can never get back. DeMarco also shows that the slow lane is slow not because of external factors. It is slow because it is built on the wrong assumptions. The assumption that money grows only incrementally. The assumption that saving pennies leads to millions. The assumption that retirement is the only time to enjoy life. The Great Deception is so powerful that most people never question it. They accept mediocrity. They accept waiting decades to live the life they truly want. They accept being broke or stressed in the prime of their life. But there is another way. A way that does not require waiting until you are old. A way that separates money from time. A way that can create real freedom while you are still young. This book will show you that way. Next, in Chapter 2, DeMarco reveals his personal journey. How he once believed in the slow lane. How he tried saving slowly. And how he finally realized that the rules everyone follows are designed to keep you poor. Chapter 2. How I Screwed Get Rich Slow. M.J. DeMarco opens up about his personal story in this chapter. Like most people, he once believed in the slow lane. He thought that hard work, saving, and patience would eventually lead to wealth. He got a good job. He saved money. He invested carefully. He followed the rules. But after years of effort, he realized something shocking. The slow lane did not work for him. It delivered frustration, not freedom. It promised eventual comfort, but it delayed life itself. He saw that by the time he would retire, decades of his best years would be gone. Time, energy, and freedom had been traded for a false hope of wealth. DeMarco calls this screwing the get-rich-slow method. He realized that following the conventional advice is like running on a treadmill. You move, but you do not get anywhere. The more he worked, the more he understood that waiting for retirement is waiting for life to begin. And life does not wait. This personal awakening led him to a critical insight. The rules of wealth taught by society are designed to benefit the system, not the individual. Jobs, slow investing, and gradual saving keep people dependent, busy, and compliant. They teach patience, but steal opportunity. DeMarco knew there had to be a better way. He began studying entrepreneurs, millionaires, and successful business owners. He looked at how wealth was really created. He discovered that the fast lane is not about luck. It is about control, leverage, and creating value for many people. It is about divorcing time from money, so your income can grow without directly exchanging hours for dollars. By breaking free from the slow lane, DeMarco started building his own path. He experimented. He took risks. He learned lessons the hard way. But he also discovered the principles that make rapid wealth possible. Principles that most people never hear in school or from financial advisors. Chapter 2 ends with a critical understanding. Wealth is not about following rules that enslave time. It is about creating systems, products, and services that serve many people. It is about becoming the producer, not the consumer. It is about taking control of your life, your choices, and your financial destiny. Next, in Part 2, DeMarco explains the journey mindset. Wealth is not simply a destination at the end of life. It is a road trip with its own maps, vehicles, and rules. Understanding this road trip will prepare you to leave the sidewalk and slow lane behind and start your fast lane journey. Part 2. Wealth is not a road, but a road trip. Part 2 shifts the perspective. Wealth is not a single destination at the end of life. It is a journey, a road trip with twists, turns, and choices. Most people think of money as a fixed goal. They imagine a bank account, a retirement number, or a fancy house. But DeMarco teaches that wealth is more than numbers. It is freedom, health, purpose, and the ability to live life on your terms. To reach this kind of wealth, you need the right roadmap. You need a vehicle you control. And you need a mindset that sees money not as an endpoint, but as a tool to create freedom. In this part, we explore how to navigate this road trip effectively. We will examine the roads most people take and why they fail. We will also begin to see the fast lane as a high-speed, controlled route to true wealth. By the end of this part, you will understand that money is not just about earning. It is about building systems, creating value, and steering your life in the direction you choose. Next, in Chapter 3, The Road Trip to Wealth, DeMarco explains how to start this journey. He shows why thinking of wealth as a road trip changes everything. And he introduces the principles that will guide you from the sidewalk and slow lane onto the fast lane. Chapter 3, The Road Trip to Wealth. DeMarco begins by changing the way we think about money. Wealth is not a destination at the end of life. It is a road trip. Every choice you make is a turn on the road. Every action either speeds you toward freedom or slows you down. Most people drive without a map. They wander aimlessly. They follow traffic signs that lead to the sidewalk or the slow lane. They spend decades trading time for money, thinking that saving slowly will eventually get them rich. But time passes, life passes, and they are left with regret. A road trip requires three things: a clear map, a reliable vehicle, and the right mindset. The map tells you where to go. The vehicle is your skills, your business, and your ability to produce value. The mindset keeps you focused, disciplined, and ready for obstacles. DeMarco emphasizes that the journey is not about luck. It is about control. You can choose the roads you take. You can choose the speed you travel. You can choose the stops and the direction. This is the essence of the fast lane. He also points out the difference between travelers on the sidewalk, the slow lane, and the fast lane. Sidewalkers drive recklessly with no plan, often crashing financially. Slow lane travelers drive safely but slowly, waiting decades to reach their destination. Fast laners drive strategically, building systems that accelerate their journey. They do not trade hours for dollars. They create value for many people at once. Finally, DeMarco introduces the idea that wealth is not only about money, it is about freedom, time, health, and purpose. A fast road trip means enjoying life while you are still young. It means steering your own vehicle, not following someone else's rules. Next, in Chapter 4, The Road Maps to Wealth, DeMarco will show the actual maps. He explains which roads lead to poverty, which roads lead to slow success, and which roads can create rapid wealth. Understanding these maps is the key to choosing the fast lane and leaving the sidewalk and slow lane behind. Chapter 4. The Road Maps to Wealth. DeMarco begins by explaining that not all roads lead to freedom. Most people follow the wrong maps without even realizing it. They think the road to wealth is a straight line. But in reality, there are three major roads, each leading to very different outcomes. The first road is the sidewalk. Sidewalkers live paycheck to paycheck. They spend everything they earn. They do not plan for the future. They are driven by instant gratification. This road is dangerous. It is filled with debt, stress, and financial uncertainty. The second road is the slow lane. Slow lane travelers work hard, save a little, and invest cautiously. They follow society's rules. They delay life for decades, hoping to enjoy wealth at retirement. This road is safer than the sidewalk, but it is slow. Most people reach the destination when their best years are gone. The third road is the fast lane. Fast laners think differently. They do not trade time for money. They create systems, businesses, and products that serve many people at once. They leverage scale, control, and innovation to accelerate wealth. The fast lane allows freedom while you are still young. It is not luck, it is strategic action. DeMarco emphasizes that choosing the right roadmap is critical. The sidewalk is easy to fall into because it promises instant gratification. The slow lane is appealing because it seems safe and conventional. The fast lane requires effort, risk, and thinking differently. But it also offers the greatest reward, true wealth and freedom. He also introduces the idea that wealth is not only about money, it is about time, health, and control. The fast lane maximizes all three. It is the only road that allows you to live life on your terms without waiting decades. By the end of this chapter, you understand that choosing the right roadmap is the foundation of success. Your journey is not random. Your choices define the speed, safety, and quality of your ride. Next, in Part 3, The Road Most Traveled. The sidewalk, DeMarco will explore the pitfalls of the sidewalk in detail. He explains why most people remain trapped in poverty and how toxic habits and false beliefs keep them stuck. Part 3. The Road Most Traveled, the Sidewalk. Part 3 takes us to the most common road in the world, the sidewalk. This is the path millions of people walk without even realizing it. Sidewalkers live paycheck to paycheck. They spend what they earn and often borrow to fill the gaps. They chase instant gratification, believing that money will solve every problem. But it never does. The sidewalk is dangerous because it offers comfort in the short term, but disaster in the long term. It teaches no discipline, no planning, and no financial responsibility. People on this road are often blind to the traps they face. Debt, stress, and financial insecurity are constant companions. In this part, DeMarco explores the mindset, habits, and choices of sidewalk travelers. He shows why wealth is nearly impossible on this road. He also explains the toxic beliefs and false hopes that keep people trapped. By understanding the sidewalk, you can recognize it in your own life and take steps to leave it behind. Next, in Chapter 5, the Sidewalk Roadmap, we will look closely at how this road works, why people fall into it, and the real dangers of trading freedom for short-term pleasure. This is the first step to realizing that there is a better road waiting: the fast lane. Chapter 5, the Sidewalk Roadmap. DeMarco begins by explaining that the sidewalk is the most traveled yet most dangerous road. Sidewalkers have no plan for wealth. They live in the moment. They spend what they earn, often on things they cannot afford. They borrow money to fill temporary gaps. Credit cards, payday loans, and consumer debt are common companions on this road. The sidewalk promises freedom, but delivers stress. It promises comfort, but delivers dependency. Most sidewalkers do not even realize they are on this road. They follow the crowd, imitate habits, and chase the same illusions of happiness. DeMarco emphasizes that wealth cannot be built without discipline. On the sidewalk, discipline is rare. People prioritize instant gratification over long-term security. They believe that money will solve problems if only they earn more. But without a plan, more money simply leads to more spending. The roadmap of the sidewalk is simple but destructive. Earn money, spend it quickly. Borrow when necessary. Repeat. There is no accumulation. There is no system. There is no freedom. Sidewalkers also have a toxic mindset. They blame luck, the economy, or others for their struggles. They hope for windfalls or miracles. They dream of the lottery or an unexpected inheritance. But hope without action is useless. DeMarco warns that the sidewalk is contagious. Friends, family, and culture can keep you trapped. Even small compromises in spending, time management, or mindset can pull you back. Recognizing this road is the first step to leaving it behind. Next, in Chapter 6, Has Your Wealth Been Toxified?, DeMarco explores the subtle ways money habits, beliefs, and influences poison your financial life. He shows how even those with income can sabotage their own path to freedom if they follow sidewalk thinking. Chapter 6, Has Your Wealth Been Toxified? DeMarco begins by asking a simple but powerful question. Even if you earn money, is it actually building wealth for you? Or is it being poisoned by poor habits, bad influences, and false beliefs? Many people work hard, but never grow rich. The problem is not income. It is the way money is handled, thought about, and influenced by outside forces. He calls this financial toxicity. It can come from spending habits, like buying things you do not need. It can come from debt that grows faster than your income. It can come from listening to the wrong advisors, gurus, or friends. Even small bad decisions compound over time, slowly eroding wealth. DeMarco emphasizes that the mindset of sidewalkers is often toxic too. They believe in luck instead of strategy. They prioritize comfort today over freedom tomorrow. They envy wealth, but do not take control. They are often reactive rather than proactive with money. Another source of toxicity is culture. Society glorifies consumption, materialism, and instant gratification. Advertisements and peer pressure push people to spend, borrow, and compete. Even successful earners can be trapped if they do not manage these influences. The antidote, DeMarco says, is awareness and discipline. You must recognize toxic habits, beliefs, and influences. You must control your spending and save intelligently. You must seek knowledge and build systems that make money work for you. Wealth is not just about earning more. It is about protecting, growing, and multiplying what you already have. By identifying and eliminating financial toxins, you prepare for freedom. You stop leaking time and money. You take responsibility for your future. And you create the mindset needed to move from the sidewalk to the fast lane. Next, in Chapter 7, Misuse Money and Money Will Misuse You, DeMarco explains the direct relationship between your behavior and the results you get from money. He shows that how you treat money determines whether it serves you or enslaves you. Chapter 7, Misuse Money and Money Will Misuse You. DeMarco begins by stating a simple truth. Money is a tool. How you use it determines whether it empowers you or controls you. If you misuse money, it will misuse you. Spend recklessly. Borrow without planning. Chase trends. And you will be trapped in a cycle of stress, debt, and financial dependency. Most sidewalkers misuse money without realizing it. They buy things they do not need. They live beyond their means. They hope for luck or windfalls instead of taking control. Even when income increases, their financial situation does not improve because habits stay the same. DeMarco emphasizes that wealth requires discipline. You must manage money consciously. You must budget, invest, and save strategically. You must treat money as a servant, not a master. If money controls your decisions, it will dictate your life. If you control money, it will give you freedom. He also explains the difference between short-term pleasure and long-term wealth. Spending for instant gratification is tempting but dangerous. It creates temporary happiness and long-term stress. Building wealth requires patience, planning, and deliberate action. This is why many earners remain poor. They fail to align habits with goals. DeMarco introduces the idea that money is not evil, but misuse is. Debt, wasteful spending, and poor mindset create the illusion that money is the problem. The real problem is behavior. Control habits, and money becomes a powerful ally. Finally, he encourages the listener to audit their financial life. Look at your spending. Look at your influences. Look at your beliefs. Identify where money is misused. Correct it. This is the first step toward moving off the sidewalk and onto a road that leads to freedom. Next, in Chapter 8, Lucky Bastards Play the Game, DeMarco explores why some people succeed seemingly effortlessly. He shows that luck alone is rarely the reason. Instead, strategic thinking, mindset, and action determine who thrives financially. Chapter 8. Lucky Bastards Play the Game. DeMarco begins by addressing a common belief. Many people think that wealth comes from luck. They see successful individuals and assume they were born fortunate. But luck alone is rarely the reason for financial success. Instead, the lucky bastards are those who understand and play the game of wealth strategically. These people do not wait for opportunities to fall into their lap. They create opportunities. They understand the rules of money. They see systems, patterns, and leverage where others see randomness. They take risks intelligently. They experiment. They learn from failure instead of being paralyzed by it. DeMarco emphasizes that success is predictable when you follow the right principles. Wealth is not about wishing, hoping, or relying on luck. It is about understanding the game and using your skills, time, and resources to win it. The Fastlane is built on this concept: control, leverage, and value creation. You cannot rely on luck. You must engineer your own fortune. He also explains that playing the game requires responsibility. You are accountable for your results. No one else will solve your problems or hand you wealth. Sidewalkers blame circumstances, but Fastlaners take ownership. They understand that control over money equals control over life. Finally, DeMarco encourages the listener to change their perspective. Stop thinking wealth is a distant dream or a matter of chance. Start thinking strategically, like a player in the game. Understand that the rules exist and they can be learned, applied, and mastered. This mindset separates the truly wealthy from those who remain poor despite effort. Next, in Chapter 9, Wealth Demands Accountability, DeMarco dives deeper into the responsibility required to build real wealth. He explains why owning your choices and results is essential for moving off the sidewalk and onto a path to freedom. Chapter 9. Wealth Demands Accountability. DeMarco begins by stating a powerful truth. Wealth does not happen by accident. It requires accountability. You must take full responsibility for your money, choices, and results. No one else will manage your financial life for you. Employers, governments, or advisors can guide you, but you are the one who must steer your ship. Sidewalkers and slow-lane travelers often blame outside factors. They blame the economy, bad luck, or society for their struggles. They expect help, rescue, or miracles. This mindset keeps them trapped. Real wealth comes when you stop making excuses. You own your decisions, your failures, and your successes. DeMarco emphasizes that accountability is not just about responsibility. It is about control. When you hold yourself accountable, you see clearly where money flows. You identify waste, toxic habits, and bad influences. You make deliberate choices to grow your wealth. Accountability transforms passive earners into active wealth creators. He also explains that accountability is linked to freedom. The more you take responsibility for your financial life, the less you are controlled by external forces. You can choose your path. You can take calculated risks. You can create systems that multiply money instead of trading hours for dollars. This mindset is the foundation of the Fastlane. Finally, DeMarco challenges the listener to audit their life. Track income. Track expenses. Track decisions and results. Ask yourself, am I accountable or am I blaming others? True wealth cannot exist without this self-honesty. Next, in Part 4, Mediocrity, the Slowlane Roadmap, DeMarco exposes the myths of conventional financial advice. He reveals why the slow lane keeps millions working hard for decades while their dreams slowly fade. Part 4. Mediocrity, the Slow Lane Roadmap. Part 4 explores the road that most people believe will make them rich, the slow lane. This is the path of conventional advice. Go to school. Get a job. Save a little. Invest slowly. Wait decades for retirement. Society calls this wisdom. DeMarco calls it mediocrity. The slow lane promises security, but it often delivers frustration, delay, and lost time. Most people following this road work hard, but never reach true freedom. They trade their lives for a paycheck. They postpone dreams. They delay happiness until an uncertain future. In this part, DeMarco exposes the myths that keep millions trapped. He explains why relying on education, jobs, and traditional advice rarely leads to wealth. He also shows how the slow lane can feel safe, but is actually slow, risky, and limiting. By the end of this part, you will understand that following conventional rules is not a path to freedom. You will see why mediocrity is the enemy of wealth. And you will begin to understand the principles of the fast lane, which offer a faster, more controlled, and more rewarding journey. Next, in Chapter 10, The Lie You've Been Sold. The Slow Lane. DeMarco reveals the false promises of conventional financial advice. He explains why most people are misled into believing that patience, saving, and hard work alone will make them rich. Chapter 10, The Lie You've Been Sold. The Slow Lane. DeMarco begins by exposing a powerful truth. Most people are taught a lie about wealth. They are told that working hard, saving slowly, and investing cautiously will make them rich. This is the slow lane myth. It promises safety, patience, and eventual comfort. But in reality, it often delivers delay, mediocrity, and lost time. Schools, parents, and financial advisors all reinforce this belief. They emphasize security over speed. They say, be patient, work hard, wait for retirement. Society paints this as responsible behavior. But the result is a life lived in slow motion, waiting for freedom at an age when health and energy are fading. DeMarco points out that the slow lane trades your most valuable asset, time. You spend decades earning a living, saving pennies, and hoping that compound interest will make you rich. Meanwhile, life passes by. Opportunities are lost. Dreams are postponed. The problem is not hard work itself. It is the structure of the slow lane. It encourages dependence on employers. It discourages risk-taking. It ties income to time, which limits growth and freedom. DeMarco also highlights the danger of conventional education. School teaches skills for employment, not wealth creation. It teaches compliance, not entrepreneurship. It produces workers, not wealth creators. By the end of this chapter, you realize that the slow lane is a slow, predictable road to delayed dreams. It is comfortable for many, but it rarely leads to real freedom. Next, in Chapter 11, The Criminal Trade. Your Job. DeMarco dives deeper into the most deceptive part of the slow lane, employment. He explains how relying on a job as the main source of income can keep you trapped for decades, and why thinking differently is crucial to escaping the slow lane. Chapter 11. The Criminal Trade. Your Job. DeMarco begins by exposing a harsh truth. Most people believe that a job is the key to security and wealth. In reality, relying on a job as your main source of income is one of the biggest traps of the slow lane. Jobs provide money in exchange for time, but they also limit freedom, growth, and financial potential. He calls it the criminal trade because it quietly robs you of your most valuable asset: time. Every hour you work is an hour you cannot reclaim. Even if the paycheck is large, it is tied directly to your presence and effort. You are trading time for money, and time is finite. DeMarco points out that most jobs have hidden dangers. Income is controlled by someone else. Raises are uncertain. Job security is an illusion. Layoffs, downsizing, or company changes can instantly destroy your financial stability. Even if you work hard and earn more, you are still limited. Your income grows slowly because it depends on your effort, promotions, or annual raises. It cannot scale infinitely. This is why many people remain in the slow lane for decades. He emphasizes that true wealth comes from control, not labor. The fast lane requires creating systems, businesses, or products that generate income without your constant presence. Time and money must be divorced to achieve freedom. DeMarco also warns against the mindset trap. Jobs teach compliance, not creativity. They encourage comfort over risk-taking. They create dependence instead of independence. By the end of this chapter, you understand why relying solely on employment is dangerous. It keeps most people trapped in mediocrity, working hard without real financial progress. Next, in Chapter 12, The Slow Lane. Why you aren't rich. DeMarco explains why following the slow lane rules alone rarely leads to wealth. He examines the myths of hard work, saving, and education, and why these strategies fail to deliver freedom. Chapter 12. The Slow Lane. Why you aren't rich. DeMarco begins by asking a critical question. If you work hard, save, and follow the rules, why aren't you rich? The answer is simple. The slow lane is designed to make you comfortable but not wealthy. It rewards patience over speed. It rewards compliance over creativity. It rewards effort tied to time, not systems that scale. Most people think wealth is a reward for hard work alone. They believe that saving a small percentage of their income for decades will make them rich. They believe that education and a stable job guarantee freedom. DeMarco calls this the biggest misconception of all. The slow lane fails because it trades your life for money. You work hours, days, and decades to earn income. Your freedom is limited. Your time is spent on someone else's goals. Even when you reach retirement, wealth often comes too late, and health or energy may be gone. DeMarco also points out that the slow lane encourages blind trust in systems that do not serve you. Financial advisors, employers, and conventional wisdom all guide you slowly toward deferred wealth. They do not teach control, leverage, or creating value for many people at once. He emphasizes that wealth is not a matter of effort alone. It is a matter of strategy, leverage, and understanding the rules of money. Without applying these principles, your efforts produce little real freedom. Finally, DeMarco warns that delaying action is dangerous. Life is unpredictable. Health, opportunities, and time are finite. Waiting decades for freedom is a risk most cannot afford. Next, in Chapter 13, The Futile Fight. Education. DeMarco examines why conventional education often fails to create wealth. He explains how relying solely on schooling to get rich is a strategy that keeps most people trapped in the slow lane. Chapter 13. The Futile Fight. Education. DeMarco begins by questioning a deeply held belief. Most people think education is the key to wealth. Go to school, earn degrees, get a high-paying job. This is what society teaches. But in reality, conventional education rarely leads to financial freedom. He explains that schools are designed to produce workers, not wealth creators. They teach compliance, memorization, and following rules. They rarely teach entrepreneurship, financial literacy, or how to build systems that generate income. As a result, graduates enter the slow lane, trading time for money for decades. DeMarco points out that even higher education has hidden costs. Tuition, student loans, and years spent in study consume time and money. Many people graduate with debt, limited skills for wealth creation, and no understanding of leverage. Even with a good job, income remains tied to time and effort. Wealth grows slowly, if at all. He emphasizes that education alone does not equal wealth. It is a tool, not a guarantee. The fast lane requires learning skills beyond the classroom. It requires understanding business, value creation, and financial control. It requires thinking in systems, not just linear effort. DeMarco also warns against blind trust in gurus and conventional advice. Many financial programs and self-help strategies reinforce the slow lane mindset. They promise security and eventual wealth, but rarely teach how to escape the time for money trap. Finally, he encourages the listener to shift focus. Instead of relying solely on schooling, seek knowledge that builds leverage and freedom. Learn how money, business, and systems work. Education becomes valuable only when it empowers action toward wealth, not just credentials. Next, in Chapter 14, The Hypocrisy of the Gurus, DeMarco exposes the misleading advice of financial experts who promote the slow lane while quietly benefiting themselves. He shows why following conventional gurus can keep people trapped in mediocrity. Chapter 14. The Hypocrisy of the Gurus. DeMarco begins by exposing a harsh reality. Many financial gurus and self-help experts sell advice that keeps people in the slow lane. They promise wealth and freedom, but their strategies often benefit only themselves. They encourage slow saving, cautious investing, and patience while they profit from your reliance on their guidance. He explains that these gurus rarely practice what they preach. They may accumulate wealth through business, marketing, or leverage, but they sell a false narrative that hard work, jobs, and slow investing are the key to success. Followers trust them, follow their rules, and end up trading decades of life for delayed freedom. DeMarco emphasizes that the slow lane mindset is reinforced by those who claim to have the answers. Books, seminars, and programs create hope, but they rarely teach control, leverage, or real wealth creation. This creates a cycle where people pay for guidance that keeps them dependent rather than free. He also warns about the illusion of safety. Many gurus focus on minimizing risk, protecting capital, or avoiding mistakes. While caution can be useful, overemphasis on safety stifles growth. True wealth requires calculated risk, experimentation, and taking responsibility for outcomes. Finally, DeMarco encourages the listener to think critically. Question advice. Analyze results. Seek strategies that create scalable value, not incremental income tied to time. Wealth comes from action, control, and understanding, not blind trust in experts. Next, in Chapter 15, Slow Lane Victory. A Gamble of Hope, DeMarco explores why even those who follow the slow lane may occasionally achieve financial success. He shows that it is often based on luck, timing, or external factors, not the strategy itself, highlighting why the slow lane is unreliable for true freedom. Chapter 15. Slow Lane Victory. A Gamble of Hope. DeMarco begins by acknowledging a rare truth. Some people do achieve wealth while following the slow lane. They save diligently, invest carefully, and work hard for decades. But he calls it a gamble of hope. Success on this road is unpredictable and often relies on luck, timing, or external circumstances. He explains that the slow lane offers very little control over outcomes. You can work hard, follow every rule, and still fall short. Economic downturns, inflation, or personal setbacks can erase decades of effort. Even achieving modest wealth requires patience that most people do not have. DeMarco emphasizes that the slow lane is slow, risky, and uncertain. It ties your income to time and effort, limits your freedom, and delays rewards. By the time success arrives, many have sacrificed health, energy, and prime years of life. This is why relying solely on patience and traditional advice is a poor strategy. He also points out the psychological cost. Slowlane followers often live in fear of failure. They delay life for distant rewards that may never fully materialize. They compare themselves to others and feel trapped in mediocrity. Even when they achieve financial success, it rarely feels like freedom. Finally, DeMarco challenges the listener to consider alternatives. Why wait decades for uncertain success? Why gamble with time, the most precious resource? The Fastlane offers a path where speed, leverage, and control create real wealth and freedom while you are still young. Next, in Part 5, Wealth. The Fastlane Roadmap. DeMarco reveals the principles of the Fastlane. He explains how to escape the slow lane and build wealth faster, with control, leverage, and purpose. Part 5. Wealth. The Fastlane Roadmap. Part 5 introduces the Fastlane, the road to rapid wealth and true freedom. Unlike the slow lane or the sidewalk, the Fastlane is built on control, leverage, and value creation. It is not about trading time for money. It is about designing systems, businesses, and opportunities that scale income without tying it to your hours. DeMarco emphasizes that the Fastlane is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It requires effort, discipline, and strategic thinking. But unlike the slow lane, it allows you to achieve financial freedom while you are still young, energetic, and capable of enjoying life. In this part, you will learn the principles, commandments, and strategies that make wealth predictable and controllable. You will understand how the rich really get rich, how to separate money from time, and how to build systems that generate freedom. Next, in Chapter 16, Wealth's Shortcut. The Fastlane. DeMarco reveals the mindset and mechanics behind the Fastlane. He shows how it differs from conventional thinking and why it accelerates wealth faster than any other road. Chapter 16. Wealth's Shortcut. The Fastlane. DeMarco begins by introducing the Fastlane as a completely different approach to wealth. Unlike the slow lane, which ties money to time, the Fastlane uses leverage, control, and scale to accelerate results. It is not a shortcut in the sense of easy or effortless. It is a shortcut because it produces wealth faster and more predictably than the traditional path. He emphasizes mindset first. Fastlaners think differently. They look for opportunities where value can be multiplied. They focus on serving many people rather than just earning a salary. They create products, systems, and businesses that generate income without constant labor. The Fastlane separates money from time. Income is no longer limited by hours worked. It grows exponentially when systems, teams, and resources are leveraged effectively. This is why entrepreneurs, inventors, and investors in scalable industries often achieve wealth faster than employees or savers. DeMarco also highlights that the Fastlane requires responsibility. You cannot blame employers, the economy, or luck. You must take control of your actions, decisions, and results. You must build systems that can operate independently of you while producing income. Finally, he encourages the listener to evaluate their current road. Are you on the sidewalk, the slow lane, or ready to enter the fast lane? The decision determines your speed to wealth and freedom. Next, in Chapter 17, Switch Teams and Playbooks, DeMarco explains how to adopt the fast lane mindset fully, replace outdated strategies, and follow the principles that make rapid wealth possible. Chapter 17. Switch Teams and Playbooks. DeMarco begins by stressing a vital truth. To enter the fast lane, you must change your team, your strategies, and your mindset. The people you associate with, the advice you follow, and the habits you practice directly influence your speed to wealth. He explains that sidewalkers and slow lane travelers often surround themselves with peers who reinforce mediocrity. They discuss jobs, paychecks, and safe investments. They celebrate caution and criticize risk-taking. This environment slows your progress and keeps you trapped. Fastlaners, on the other hand, align with other successful, ambitious, and strategic thinkers. They learn from those who create scalable wealth. They adopt proven playbooks while avoiding mistakes that cost time and money. Switching teams is not about leaving friends behind. It is about choosing mentors, advisors, and peers who challenge, inspire, and guide you toward rapid wealth. DeMarco also emphasizes the importance of playbooks. A playbook is a set of repeatable actions, strategies, and systems that reliably produce results. Instead of improvising or relying on luck, Fastlaners follow structured methods that multiply value. These playbooks cover business, marketing, investment, and time management. Finally, he encourages the listener to take action. Identify influences that slow you down. Surround yourself with winners. Adopt proven strategies while discarding outdated advice. This switch sets the foundation for leveraging resources, scaling income, and accelerating your journey to wealth. Next, in Chapter 18, How the Rich Really Get Rich, DeMarco reveals the core principles and strategies the wealthy use to build and preserve wealth rapidly. He explains why they think differently and act differently, producing results the Slowlane cannot deliver. Chapter 18, How the Rich Really Get Rich. DeMarco begins by revealing a critical insight. The wealthy do not rely on luck, inheritance, or jobs. They follow principles and systems that multiply value. They create opportunities where income grows faster than time. This is the essence of the Fastlane. He explains that the rich focus on three key factors: control, leverage, and scale. Control means they own the system or product, not just a job or small piece of it. Leverage allows them to use other people's time, resources, and skills to expand their results. Scale enables their wealth to grow beyond what one person could achieve alone. DeMarco emphasizes that the rich are problem solvers. They identify needs, create solutions, and deliver value to many people. Money follows value. The more value you create for others, the faster and larger your income grows. This contrasts sharply with the Slowlane, where income is tied to hours worked or effort limited to a paycheck. He also highlights the mindset difference. The wealthy think in systems and results, not tasks and effort. They focus on exponential growth instead of linear progress. They take calculated risks, embrace failure as feedback, and continuously innovate. Finally, DeMarco encourages the listener to analyze their own approach. Are you building systems or trading time for money? Are you creating scalable value or relying on limited resources? Adopting the Fastlane mindset is the first step to wealth that is predictable, controllable, and accelerated. Next, in Chapter 19, Divorce Wealth from Time, DeMarco explains the crucial concept of separating income from hours worked. He shows how this shift multiplies results and frees your life from the constraints of time. Chapter 19, Divorce Wealth from Time. DeMarco begins by explaining a simple but powerful principle. Most people tie their income directly to the hours they work. This creates a ceiling on earnings and traps them in the Slowlane. To achieve Fastlane wealth, you must separate money from time. He emphasizes that trading hours for dollars is limiting. No matter how much you work, there is a maximum you can earn. The wealthy, in contrast, design systems, products, or businesses that generate income independently of their presence. This creates freedom and accelerates wealth accumulation. DeMarco introduces practical examples. Entrepreneurs create companies that earn while they sleep. Inventors license products to millions. Investors leverage assets that grow without constant effort. All these strategies divorce wealth from the constraints of time. He also highlights mindset. You must think in terms of results, not activity. Working more hours does not guarantee more money. Instead, focus on value, leverage, and scale. Time becomes your ally, not your jailer. Finally, DeMarco encourages the listener to audit their own life. Identify where income is tied to presence or effort. Seek ways to systematize, automate, or scale it. This shift is essential for moving from the Slowlane to the Fastlane. Next, in Chapter 20, Recruit Your Army of Freedom Fighters, DeMarco explains how building a team amplifies your Fastlane results. He shows why no one achieves true wealth alone and how collaboration multiplies freedom and income. Chapter 20. Recruit Your Army of Freedom Fighters. DeMarco begins by stressing an essential Fastlane principle. You cannot achieve true wealth alone. Building systems, scaling businesses, and creating value for many requires a team. The right people amplify your efforts and multiply your results. He calls this team your Army of Freedom Fighters. These are skilled, motivated, and aligned individuals who share your vision of financial independence. They help execute tasks, innovate, and expand reach. By leveraging their abilities, you free your time and accelerate growth. DeMarco emphasizes the importance of alignment. Your team must believe in the mission. They must be accountable, reliable, and capable. Hiring or collaborating with the wrong people wastes time, energy, and money. The fast lane is not just about speed, it is about strategic partnerships. He also highlights mindset. True leaders empower others. They delegate responsibility without losing control over outcomes. They provide vision, direction, and incentives. This creates a system where your influence multiplies through others. Finally, DeMarco encourages the listener to start building their team immediately. Identify key roles, seek talent, and create systems for collaboration. The more capable your army, the faster your fast lane journey progresses. Wealth is no longer limited by your hours. It grows exponentially through your team. Next, in Chapter 21, The Real Law of Wealth, DeMarco reveals the universal principles that govern wealth creation. He explains how understanding and applying these laws makes success predictable and sustainable. Chapter 21, The Real Law of Wealth. DeMarco begins by revealing a fundamental truth. Wealth is governed by predictable laws, not luck or chance. Those who understand and follow these principles can create freedom and abundance consistently. Ignoring them leads to struggle, delay, and dependency. He explains that the first law of wealth is value. Money flows to those who provide more value than they consume. The greater the value you create for others, the faster and larger your income grows. This is why entrepreneurs, inventors, and innovators often accumulate wealth rapidly. The second law is control. You must own the system, product, or process that generates income. Without control, your earnings depend on others, limiting freedom and predictability. This contrasts sharply with employees or slow-lane earners whose income is dictated by someone else. DeMarco also emphasizes leverage. Wealth grows exponentially when you leverage people, technology, or capital. Time becomes a tool instead of a limitation. Scaling systems amplifies results beyond what any individual could achieve alone. He warns against ignoring risk and responsibility. Fastlaners do not avoid risk blindly. They manage it strategically, making calculated decisions while taking full accountability for outcomes. Wealth requires courage, strategy, and action, not fear or delay. Finally, he encourages the listener to adopt these laws in their life. Think in terms of value, control, and leverage. Design systems that free your time while multiplying your results. This mindset and strategy are the core of the fast lane. Next, in Part 6, Your Vehicle to Wealth. DeMarco shifts focus to the most important factor in the fast lane, yourself. He explains how mindset, habits, and personal responsibility steer your journey to financial freedom. Part 6. Your Vehicle to Wealth. Part 6 shifts the focus to the most important factor in the fast lane, yourself. No system, business, or team can succeed without a capable driver. You are the vehicle through which wealth, freedom, and success are created. Your mindset, habits, decisions, and personal responsibility determine the speed and direction of your journey. DeMarco emphasizes that self-mastery is essential. Even the best fastlane strategies fail if your personal discipline, focus, and vision are weak. You must be willing to take full ownership of your life, choices, and outcomes. Your actions, attitudes, and decisions act as the steering wheel, engine, and fuel of your wealth journey. In this part, you will learn how to clean your mental windshield, eliminate distractions, manage time, and maximize your personal potential. You will understand how self-awareness, focus, and accountability drive exponential results. Next, in Chapter 22, Own Yourself. First, DeMarco explains why personal responsibility is the foundation of all wealth. He shows how taking control of your thoughts, habits, and actions accelerates your path to the fast lane. Chapter 22. Own Yourself First. DeMarco begins by stating a vital truth. Before you can control systems, teams, or businesses, you must first control yourself. Your thoughts, habits, and actions are the foundation of wealth. Without self-mastery, even the best strategies fail. He explains that most people give away control of their lives. They let emotions, distractions, bad habits, and external opinions steer their decisions. They blame circumstances, others, or luck for setbacks. This lack of personal accountability keeps them trapped in the slow lane or sidewalk. Owning yourself means taking full responsibility for your decisions and outcomes. It requires honesty, self-discipline, and courage. You must identify weaknesses, address fears, and eliminate habits that drain energy or time. This includes financial habits, productivity habits, and mental habits. DeMarco emphasizes that self-mastery accelerates every aspect of the Fastlane journey. When you control yourself, you make faster decisions, act with confidence, and avoid delays caused by doubt or procrastination. You become a reliable vehicle that can carry systems, teams, and strategies to success. Finally, he encourages the listener to conduct a personal audit. Identify where you lack control. Commit to improving yourself daily. Your mindset, focus, and discipline are your most valuable assets in creating wealth. Next, in Chapter 23, Life's Steering Wheel, DeMarco shows how to take active control of your life direction. He explains how focus, priorities, and deliberate decisions act as your steering wheel toward Fastlane success. Chapter 23, Life's Steering Wheel. DeMarco begins by emphasizing a simple truth. Your life is like a vehicle, and your decisions are the steering wheel. Where you aim, how you navigate, and the direction you choose determine whether you reach wealth or stay stuck in the slow lane. He explains that most people drift through life. They follow routines, trends, or other people's advice without consciously deciding their destination. This lack of direction slows progress, wastes time, and reduces opportunities. The steering wheel of your life requires focus, priorities, and deliberate choices. You must define your destination, your financial and personal goals. You must decide what actions will move you forward and what distractions to eliminate. Without control over your direction, even the fastest vehicle cannot reach its destination. DeMarco emphasizes the importance of alignment. Your habits, daily routines, and decisions must match your goals. Time, energy, and resources are limited, so misalignment slows progress. Focus ensures that every effort contributes to your Fastlane journey. Finally, he encourages the listener to take responsibility for direction. Do not let fear, laziness, or outside opinions dictate your path. Control the wheel, accelerate strategically, and keep your eyes on the destination. This mindset turns you into a vehicle capable of executing Fastlane strategies successfully. Next, in Chapter 24, Wipe Your Windshield Clean, DeMarco explains how to remove mental clutter, limiting beliefs, and distractions that block clarity and focus. Chapter 24, Wipe Your Windshield Clean. DeMarco begins by explaining a crucial principle for Fastlane success. Your mind is like a windshield. If it is dirty, foggy, or cluttered, you cannot see the road ahead clearly. Distractions, limiting beliefs, and negative habits block your vision and slow your journey to wealth. He emphasizes that mental clarity is essential. Many people carry assumptions, fears, and societal conditioning that cloud judgment. They accept advice that keeps them in the slow lane. They let doubts, procrastination, and distractions guide their decisions. Wiping your windshield clean means questioning old beliefs. It means identifying and eliminating thoughts, habits, or influences that limit potential. It requires courage to let go of comfort, false security, and dependence on others' opinions. DeMarco also highlights the importance of focus. When the windshield is clear, you see opportunities, risks, and paths that others miss. Clarity allows faster, better decisions and keeps you aligned with your Fastlane goals. Finally, he encourages the listener to take action daily. Meditate, journal, and remove mental clutter. Replace limiting beliefs with empowering ones. Focus your mind like a clean windshield, ensuring every action moves you closer to wealth and freedom. Next, in Chapter 25, Deodorize Flatulent Headwinds, DeMarco shows how to handle obstacles, criticism, and negative influences that slow your Fastlane journey. Chapter 25. Deodorize Flatulent Headwinds. DeMarco begins by explaining an often overlooked reality. On the journey to wealth, obstacles, critics, and negative influences act like headwinds. They slow progress, create doubt, and test determination. Ignoring them or letting them affect you can derail your Fastlane journey. He calls this process deodorizing your headwinds. It means identifying what is holding you back, neutralizing negativity, and staying focused on your path. Criticism, fear, naysayers, and societal pressure are common headwinds that cloud judgment and reduce momentum. DeMarco emphasizes mindset first. Fastlaners understand that obstacles are normal and temporary. They separate fact from opinion, action from noise. Instead of complaining or avoiding challenges, they tackle them strategically. Every problem solved increases confidence, skill, and momentum. He also highlights the importance of boundaries. Protect your energy, time, and focus. Avoid people or situations that drain motivation or introduce unnecessary friction. The faster you recognize and manage headwinds, the more efficient your journey becomes. Finally, he encourages the listener to adopt resilience. Obstacles are not signals to stop. They are tests to grow stronger and smarter. By deodorizing headwinds, you maintain clarity, speed, and control over your Fastlane vehicle. Next, in Chapter 26, your primordial fuel. Time. DeMarco explains how to value and use time strategically. He shows why time is the ultimate resource and how managing it properly accelerates wealth. Chapter 26. Your primordial fuel. Time. DeMarco begins by stressing the ultimate truth of the Fastlane. Time is your most valuable resource. Money, systems, and teams can be replaced or repaired, but lost time cannot be regained. How you spend and protect it determines the speed and success of your wealth journey. He explains that most people squander time unknowingly. Hours are lost to distractions, unproductive routines, and activities that do not advance goals. Even work that seems important can drain time without creating wealth if it is tied to the Slowlane model. DeMarco emphasizes that valuing time changes everything. Fastlaners treat time as fuel, not just a measurement. They invest it in high-value activities, leverage, and actions that generate exponential returns. They avoid tasks that waste energy or do not contribute to growth. He introduces practical advice. Eliminate low-value commitments, automate repetitive tasks, and delegate when possible. Focus on activities that scale income or increase freedom. Each hour saved becomes a tool to accelerate Fastlane results. Finally, DeMarco encourages the listener to track and audit time. Identify where it is wasted and redirect it strategically. By treating time as primordial fuel, you maximize productivity, speed, and wealth creation. Next, in Chapter 27, Change That Dirty Stale Oil, DeMarco explains how to refresh habits, routines, and mindset to ensure maximum performance and efficiency on your Fastlane journey. Chapter 27. Change That Dirty Stale Oil. DeMarco begins by comparing personal habits and mindset to a car engine. Just like an engine needs fresh oil to run efficiently, your mind and routines need regular maintenance. Old, stale habits slow you down, reduce efficiency, and increase friction in your Fastlane journey. He explains that many people operate on autopilot. They follow routines that waste energy, reinforce mediocrity, and prevent growth. They rely on comfort zones instead of innovation, and outdated thinking instead of strategic action. Changing the oil means refreshing your habits, mindset, and energy. It involves eliminating unproductive routines, adopting empowering behaviors, and continually learning. It also requires self-awareness to recognize when your actions no longer serve your goals. DeMarco emphasizes discipline. Refreshing yourself is not a one-time action. It is a continuous process. Fastlaners regularly reassess priorities, improve efficiency, and optimize their physical, mental, and emotional performance. Finally, he encourages the listener to take actionable steps. Identify habits that slow progress, Replace them with productive routines and maintain focus on high-value activities. By changing your oil, you ensure your fast lane vehicle runs at maximum speed and efficiency. Next, in Chapter 28, Hit the Red Line, DeMarco explains how to push your limits, take decisive action, and accelerate wealth without hesitation or compromise. Chapter 28, Hit the Red Line. DeMarco begins by urging the listener to take decisive action. Fastlane wealth is not achieved by hesitation, fear, or half measures. It requires pushing limits, taking calculated risks, and fully committing to your goals. This is what he calls hitting the red line. He explains that most people operate below their potential. They settle for comfort, delay decisions, and follow slow, predictable paths. The slow lane rewards patience, not speed. The fast lane rewards acceleration, focus, and audacious action. Hitting the red line means prioritizing high-impact activities. It means working with intensity on actions that create leverage, scale, and value. It means executing relentlessly, learning from mistakes, and adjusting quickly. Every hour, every decision, and every action must propel you closer to freedom and wealth. DeMarco also emphasizes the mindset shift. Fear of failure, criticism, or uncertainty slows progress. Fastlaners embrace calculated risks, understanding that temporary setbacks are part of growth. Momentum and persistence become your fuel for speed. Finally, he encourages the listener to commit fully. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Accelerate, push limits, and maintain clarity of purpose. By hitting the red line, your fast lane vehicle moves at maximum speed toward financial freedom. Next, in Part 7, The Roads to Wealth, DeMarco explores the concrete strategies, rules, and commandments for building scalable, controllable, and rapid wealth. He explains how to identify opportunities, design systems, and create predictable income streams. Part 7, The Roads to Wealth. Part 7 focuses on the concrete strategies and rules for building real, controllable, and rapid wealth. DeMarco explains that having a fast lane mindset is just the start. To accelerate wealth, you must choose the right road, understand the principles of value creation, and follow a system that scales. He emphasizes that wealth is predictable when you understand the commandments that govern it. These commandments guide how to select opportunities, design businesses, and create income streams that grow independently of your time. Without following these rules, even the fastest vehicle can get lost or stall. In this part, you will learn the 6 commandments of wealth, how to identify the right road, and how to build systems that produce value and scale efficiently. DeMarco provides practical tools to ensure your fast lane journey is both strategic and sustainable. Next, in Chapter 29, The Right Road Routes to Wealth, DeMarco explains how to select opportunities, industries, and strategies that align with fast lane principles. He shows why the road you choose determines your speed, control, and potential for financial freedom. Chapter 29, The Right Road Routes to Wealth. DeMarco begins by explaining that not all roads lead to wealth, and choosing the right route is critical. Some opportunities are slow, limiting, or deceptive. The fast lane requires identifying paths that allow control, scale, and rapid value creation. He emphasizes that the right road focuses on needs, not wants. Businesses that solve real problems for many people have exponential potential. In contrast, ventures driven by personal preference or trends often stall or fail. Fastlaners select routes where demand is real, persistent, and scalable. DeMarco highlights the importance of control and entry barriers. The best roads allow you to own the system and make strategic decisions. They are not crowded with competitors, and you can influence outcomes. Avoid roads where you are dependent on others or restricted by external forces. He also stresses leverage. The right road multiplies effort, allowing a single action to create income far beyond what one person could do alone. Systems, teams, and technology amplify results and accelerate wealth creation. Finally, DeMarco encourages the listener to evaluate opportunities carefully. Choose roads aligned with value, control, leverage, and scale. The road you select will determine how quickly and reliably you reach financial freedom. Next, in Chapter 30, The Commandment of Need, DeMarco reveals the first of 6 essential rules for building predictable and sustainable wealth. He explains why addressing real needs is the foundation of Fastlane success. Chapter 30: The Commandment of Need. DeMarco begins by emphasizing a fundamental rule of wealth creation. To build a successful Fastlane business, you must address a real need. Money flows to those who solve problems for many people, not to those chasing personal wants or superficial desires. He explains that many slow-lane businesses fail because they cater to trivial or fleeting wants. They may offer something enjoyable, but the market is small or inconsistent. In the fast lane, your business must provide value that people truly need and are willing to pay for consistently. DeMarco highlights the importance of understanding your audience. What problems do they face? What solutions do they urgently require? By solving significant problems, you create a demand that scales naturally and reliably. He also emphasizes differentiation. A fast lane business must not only meet a need, but do so uniquely, efficiently, and effectively. This creates a competitive advantage and positions your offering as the preferred solution in the market. Finally, DeMarco encourages the listener to examine their current or future ventures. Ask whether they truly address a need or just a want. The strength of your business and the speed of wealth creation depend directly on this principle. Next, in Chapter 31, The Commandment of Entry, DeMarco explains the second essential rule. Why barriers to entry determine your ability to protect wealth and scale effectively. Chapter 31, The Commandment of Entry. DeMarco begins by explaining a critical principle for Fastlane success. Not every business idea can create lasting wealth. The second commandment, the commandment of entry, ensures that your venture has strong barriers to entry. This protects your income from competition and allows you to scale effectively. He emphasizes that easy-to-enter markets attract many competitors. When barriers are low, anyone can copy your idea, undercut prices, or flood the market. This limits growth and can trap you in a slow lane mindset, where income is unpredictable and fragile. DeMarco highlights the types of barriers that create protection. Unique intellectual property, patents, specialized knowledge, and exclusive distribution channels all act as shields. A strong barrier ensures that your efforts generate sustainable wealth without constant competition. He also discusses the balance between opportunity and entry difficulty. A market that is too hard to enter may be profitable but risky. The ideal fast lane opportunity has moderate difficulty, clear demand, and sufficient protection to ensure scalability. Finally, DeMarco encourages the listener to evaluate potential ventures carefully. Ask whether competitors can easily replicate your business or if you have a defensible advantage. Following the commandment of entry helps ensure that your fast lane business grows rapidly, safely, and predictably. Next, in Chapter 32, The Commandment of Control, DeMarco explains why owning the system, product, or process is essential for maintaining wealth and freedom. Chapter 32, The Commandment of Control. DeMarco begins by explaining a vital fast lane principle. To create predictable, scalable wealth, you must control the system that generates your income. Without control, you are dependent on others, limiting your freedom and ability to grow. He emphasizes that many slow-lane earners lack control. Employees rely on bosses, salaries, and company policies. Franchise owners depend on corporate rules. Investors in funds rely on managers and market fluctuations. In each case, someone else controls the outcome of their money or time. DeMarco highlights what control means in the fast lane. Owning your business, product, or intellectual property allows you to make decisions, innovate, and adjust strategies freely. You can respond quickly to opportunities, mitigate risks, and protect your income stream. He also explains the power of influence. The more control you have, the more you can leverage your resources, team, and systems to scale efficiently. Without control, growth is limited and fragile. Finally, DeMarco encourages the listener to assess their ventures. Ask whether you truly control the system generating your income, or if someone else holds the power. Applying the commandment of control ensures that your fast lane vehicle stays on track, resilient, and capable of exponential growth. Next, in Chapter 33, The Commandment of Scale, DeMarco explains why reaching a larger audience and multiplying impact is essential for rapid wealth creation. Chapter 33, The Commandment of Scale. DeMarco begins by explaining a core principle of Fastlane wealth. To create substantial and lasting income, your business or system must reach a large audience. The Commandment of Scale ensures that your efforts multiply across many people, increasing impact and revenue. He emphasizes that limiting your reach restricts your income. A small local business or niche product may earn a living, but it cannot create the exponential wealth the Fastlane promises. Scale is what turns a simple idea into a business that generates millions. DeMarco highlights practical ways to achieve scale. Leverage technology, systems, and teams to reach a larger market efficiently. Products that can be replicated, delivered online, or distributed globally have massive scaling potential. Services that can be systematized or outsourced multiply results without increasing personal effort proportionally. He also explains the mindset behind scale. Fastlaners think big, not small. They focus on solutions that impact thousands or millions of people rather than a few. Every decision is filtered through the lens of scalability and exponential growth. Finally, DeMarco encourages the listener to evaluate their business or idea. Ask whether it can grow beyond a limited market. Focus on opportunities that allow broad impact and maximize leverage. By applying the Commandment of Scale, your Fastlane journey accelerates, reaching higher income and freedom faster. Next, in Chapter 34, The Commandment of Time, DeMarco explains why detaching income from hours worked is essential for true financial freedom. Chapter 34, The Commandment of Time. DeMarco begins by explaining a key principle of Fastlane wealth. Time is the ultimate currency, and true wealth comes when income is independent of hours worked. The Commandment of Time ensures that your earnings grow even when you are not actively working. He emphasizes that most Slowlane earners trade time for money. Employees, freelancers, and consultants are paid based on hours, effort, or presence. This creates a ceiling, limits freedom, and makes income fragile. Fastlaners, in contrast, design systems and products that generate money without direct involvement. This includes scalable businesses, online platforms, licensing, and investments with leverage. By divorcing wealth from time, you unlock freedom, flexibility, and exponential growth potential. DeMarco also highlights mindset. Time-focused entrepreneurs prioritize efficiency, automation, and leverage. They delegate, outsource, and systematize to free themselves from daily grind tasks. Every action is evaluated for whether it multiplies results without consuming more personal time. Finally, he encourages the listener to assess all income streams. Ask whether they are tied to your presence or if they can grow independently. Redesign your strategies to prioritize scalable, time-independent income. By mastering the Commandment of Time, you accelerate your Fastlane journey toward freedom and wealth. Next, in Chapter 35, Rapid Wealth. The Interstates, DeMarco explains how to identify fast-moving opportunities and execute quickly to maximize speed and results. Chapter 35, Rapid Wealth. The Interstates. DeMarco begins by comparing the Fastlane to highways. Slowlaners move on crowded, congested roads with speed limits and delays. Fastlaners take the Interstates, direct, fast-moving routes that allow rapid progress toward wealth. He emphasizes the importance of speed. Opportunities exist everywhere, but acting quickly separates winners from followers. The sooner you identify a problem, design a solution, and scale, the faster your Fastlane vehicle accelerates. DeMarco highlights the mechanics of Interstates. These are systems, businesses, and markets that allow leverage and scaling. They enable multiple streams of income, often automated or multiplied through teams and technology. Just as highways bypass slow city traffic, Interstates bypass time limitations and constraints of small-scale thinking. He also stresses mindset and timing. Fastlaners act decisively, iterate rapidly, and adjust strategies in real time. Delays, overplanning, or fear slow progress and limit wealth creation. The ability to execute at speed is what separates Fastlane successes from Slowlane mediocrity. Finally, DeMarco encourages the listener to identify their interstates, find scalable opportunities, plan actionable steps, and execute relentlessly. Momentum, speed, and leverage combine to create exponential wealth growth. Next, in Chapter 36, Find Your Open Road, DeMarco shows how to identify clear, profitable opportunities with minimal obstacles, ensuring maximum acceleration and control. Chapter 36, Find Your Open Road. DeMarco begins by explaining the importance of choosing opportunities with minimal resistance. An open road allows fast, smooth, and efficient progress toward wealth. Obstacles, competition, and unnecessary friction slow growth and increase risk. He emphasizes that Fastlaners search for markets and problems where demand is high, but barriers to entry are manageable. They avoid saturated or overly regulated industries that limit scalability. The goal is to maximize leverage while minimizing obstacles. DeMarco also highlights the role of timing and positioning. Finding an open road means entering a market at the right time, with the right solution and the right strategy. This provides momentum, competitive advantage, and the ability to dominate early. He stresses efficiency in execution. Even a great road loses value if progress is slowed by indecision or poor planning. Fastlaners streamline systems, delegate, and focus on high-impact actions that move the vehicle forward rapidly. Finally, DeMarco encourages the listener to evaluate opportunities critically. Identify where the road is clear, where you have control, and where leverage can multiply results. An open road accelerates wealth faster, safer, and more predictably than crowded or blocked paths. Next, in Chapter 37, Give Your Road a Destination, DeMarco explains why having a clear goal and measurable outcome ensures your Fastlane journey stays focused and effective. Chapter 37, Give Your Road a Destination. DeMarco begins by emphasizing the importance of having a clear goal. Even the fastest vehicle cannot reach its destination without knowing where to go. A defined destination provides focus, direction, and purpose to every action. He explains that many people drift through business and life without measurable objectives. They work hard but lack clarity, wasting energy on tasks that do not move them closer to wealth. Fastlaners set specific, tangible, and ambitious targets that guide strategy and decisions. DeMarco highlights the power of visualization and planning. Knowing your destination allows you to map the fastest, most efficient route. It helps prioritize high-value actions, avoid distractions, and leverage opportunities strategically. He also stresses accountability. Clear goals make success measurable and obstacles easier to navigate. Without a destination, momentum is wasted, and the journey becomes slow and uncertain. Finally, DeMarco encourages the listener to define their destination with precision. Set financial goals, time objectives, and lifestyle targets. Align every action, system, and strategy to move consistently toward that endpoint. A clear destination ensures your Fastlane journey is purposeful, accelerated, and controllable. Next, in Part 8, Your Speed. Accelerate Wealth. DeMarco explores strategies to increase execution, multiply results, and maintain momentum to reach your destination faster. Part 8. Your Speed. Accelerate Wealth. Part 8 focuses on speed, the element that separates ordinary wealth builders from Fastlane achievers. DeMarco explains that having the right road, destination, and vehicle is not enough. You must also accelerate consistently, execute decisively, and multiply results to reach financial freedom faster. He emphasizes that speed in action creates momentum. Fastlaners do not wait for perfect conditions or slow down for fear of mistakes. They take calculated risks, iterate quickly, and capitalize on opportunities before others can react. In this part, you will learn how to execute strategies efficiently, remove obstacles, leverage teams, and scale impact. You will understand how mindset, focus, and relentless action combine to supercharge wealth creation. Next, in Chapter 38, The Speed of Success, DeMarco explains how velocity in decision-making, execution, and scaling accelerates your Fastlane journey, and maximizes results. Chapter 38. The Speed of Success. DeMarco begins by emphasizing that speed is a critical differentiator in the fast lane. Opportunities are abundant, but acting quickly separates winners from followers. The faster you make decisions, implement plans, and scale, the greater your wealth potential. He explains that slow execution is one of the biggest traps for slow lane earners. Delays, overthinking, and hesitation reduce momentum, increase competition, and limit results. Fast laners understand that velocity amplifies opportunity. DeMarco highlights practical ways to increase speed, prioritize high-impact actions, streamline processes, and eliminate unnecessary steps. Leverage technology, systems, and teams to accelerate outcomes without increasing personal effort. Decisive action often beats perfect planning. He also stresses the mindset of urgency. Fast laners embrace calculated risk, learn from mistakes quickly, and adapt strategies in real time. Speed combined with accountability produces exponential results. Finally, DeMarco encourages the listener to evaluate current routines, identify bottlenecks, remove distractions, and commit to faster execution. By mastering the speed of success, you propel your fast lane vehicle toward wealth faster than conventional methods allow. Next, in Chapter 39, Burn the Business Plan. Ignite Execution. DeMarco explains why taking action outweighs overplanning and how to implement strategies immediately for maximum acceleration. Chapter 39. Burn the Business Plan. Ignite Execution. DeMarco begins by challenging a common misconception. Many entrepreneurs spend months or years perfecting a business plan, but take little action. Plans are useful, but execution is what creates wealth. A brilliant idea without action remains worthless. He emphasizes that fast laners prioritize doing over planning. Taking decisive steps quickly allows testing, learning, and adapting in real time. Mistakes become feedback, not failure. Speed of execution multiplies opportunities and accelerates results. DeMarco highlights practical strategies for action. Set clear priorities, focus on high-impact tasks, and start immediately. Delegate, automate, and systematize to prevent bottlenecks. Continuous execution creates momentum that compounds over time. He also stresses mindset. Fear, perfectionism, and overanalysis slow progress. Fast laners embrace imperfection, iterate rapidly, and improve continuously. Action is the engine of the fast lane, while plans are just the map. Finally, DeMarco encourages the listener to ignite execution today. Stop waiting for ideal conditions, resources, or guidance. Implement ideas, measure results, and scale proven strategies. By burning the business plan and igniting execution, you move faster, smarter, and closer to financial freedom. Next, in Chapter 40, Pedestrians Will Make You Rich, DeMarco explains how the masses create opportunity for those bold enough to act and leverage systems strategically. Chapter 40. Pedestrians Will Make You Rich. DeMarco begins by explaining a surprising truth about wealth. The majority of people, whom he calls pedestrians, follow the slow lane. They trade time for money, work for salaries, and accept mediocre returns. Their habits, decisions, and predictable patterns create opportunities for fast laners. He emphasizes that fast laners do not resent the masses. They leverage them. By providing value to large groups, solving their problems, or meeting their needs, you can generate wealth rapidly. The actions of pedestrians fuel business growth, adoption, and scaling. DeMarco highlights examples of scalable businesses. Products, services, and systems that cater to the many, rather than a few, can generate exponential income. Even simple ideas can become highly profitable if designed to serve and replicate across a broad audience. He also stresses mindset. Instead of competing with every individual, focus on creating solutions that attract the masses naturally. The more pedestrians use, consume, or need your offering, the faster your fast lane vehicle accelerates. Finally, DeMarco encourages the listener to identify markets dominated by pedestrians. Observe patterns, needs, and behaviors. Design systems and solutions that leverage these patterns to create scalable wealth. By understanding and harnessing the power of pedestrians, your Fastlane journey becomes faster, safer, and more profitable. Next, in Chapter 41, Throw Hijackers to the Curb, DeMarco explains how to eliminate distractions, detractors, and negative influences that slow your wealth acceleration. Chapter 41. Throw Hijackers to the Curb. DeMarco begins by explaining that distractions and negative influences act like hijackers on your Fastlane journey. They steal your time, energy, and focus, slowing your acceleration toward wealth. Identifying and removing these hijackers is essential for maintaining speed and momentum. He emphasizes common hijackers: toxic people, unproductive routines, fear, doubt, and societal pressure often sabotage progress. Even well-meaning advice from others can derail Fastlaners if it conflicts with their vision or strategy. DeMarco highlights strategies to deal with hijackers. Set boundaries, limit exposure to negativity, and protect your focus. Surround yourself with supportive, like-minded individuals who reinforce your goals and Fastlane mindset. Eliminate unnecessary commitments that drain energy without creating value. He also stresses personal responsibility. You control what enters your mind, environment, and schedule. By consciously managing these factors, you reduce friction and ensure your Fastlane vehicle moves at maximum speed. Finally, DeMarco encourages the listener to audit their life regularly. Identify hijackers, neutralize their influence, and create systems that reinforce focus and productivity. By throwing hijackers to the curb, you maintain clarity, momentum, and the acceleration needed to reach financial freedom. Next, in Chapter 42, Be Someone's Savior, DeMarco explains how providing solutions that transform lives not only creates wealth, but also builds influence and credibility. Chapter 42. Be Someone's Savior. DeMarco begins by explaining a powerful principle of Fastlane wealth. The fastest path to success is to solve meaningful problems and improve people's lives. When you become someone's savior, you provide value that people are willing to pay for, share, and rely on. He emphasizes that most Slowlane earners focus on themselves or small gains. Fastlaners focus on others. By addressing urgent needs, alleviating pain, or creating solutions that simplify life, you attract attention, loyalty, and exponential growth. DeMarco highlights the leverage of impact. One solution that helps many people can generate income far beyond what individual effort could achieve. The more significant the problem you solve, the greater the opportunity for scalable wealth. Products, services, and systems designed to transform lives create both financial and personal fulfillment. He also stresses mindset. Fastlaners view challenges as opportunities to serve. Instead of competing for attention, they innovate to create superior solutions that people cannot ignore. Finally, DeMarco encourages the listener to identify ways to be a savior in their chosen market. Understand the pain points, design effective solutions, and deliver consistently. By becoming someone's savior, you create trust, credibility, and a Fastlane business that accelerates naturally. Next, in Chapter 43, Build Brands, Not Businesses, DeMarco explains why establishing a strong brand multiplies influence, loyalty, and wealth potential far beyond a simple product or service. Chapter 43. Build Brands, Not Businesses. DeMarco begins by explaining the difference between a simple business and a strong brand. A business sells products or services. A brand creates trust, loyalty, and recognition that multiplies influence and revenue over time. He emphasizes that Fastlane wealth comes from impact and recognition. Brands create emotional connections with customers, turning them into repeat clients and advocates. This ensures long-term success, scalability, and resilience even in competitive markets. DeMarco highlights the components of a strong brand. Consistency, authenticity, value, and a clear message make a business memorable. A recognizable brand allows premium pricing, easier marketing, and exponential growth opportunities. It turns a simple product into a symbol of trust and quality. He also stresses mindset. Fastlaners focus on creating lasting influence rather than short-term transactions. They build systems and experiences that reinforce their brand and reputation. Every interaction, product, or message contributes to the brand story. Finally, DeMarco encourages the listener to evaluate their ventures. Ask whether you are building a business or a brand. Invest in creating a recognizable identity, delivering consistent value, and building relationships that scale. By focusing on brands, not just businesses, you amplify your Fastlane wealth potential. Next, in Chapter 44, Choose Monogamy over Polygamy, DeMarco explains why focus on one primary venture or strategy maximizes results and accelerates financial growth. Chapter 44, Choose Monogamy over Polygamy. DeMarco begins by explaining a common mistake entrepreneurs make. Many spread themselves across multiple projects, ideas, or businesses at once. This polygamy divides focus, energy, and resources, slowing progress and reducing results. He emphasizes that Fastlaners practice monogamy in their ventures. By dedicating focus to a single high-impact business, product, or strategy, you maximize efficiency and speed. Concentration allows you to master systems, optimize processes, and scale rapidly. DeMarco highlights practical examples. Businesses that diversify too early often fail to grow because attention is scattered. Successful Fastlaners dedicate time, effort, and capital to their primary venture until it reaches significant scale. Only then do they consider expansion, new products, or secondary projects. He also stresses mindset. Monogamy is not about restriction, but about prioritization. Focus on what drives the highest return, refine it relentlessly, and dominate your chosen market. This approach amplifies momentum, leverage, and wealth creation potential. Finally, DeMarco encourages the listener to evaluate current commitments. Identify where scattered efforts are slowing your Fastlane journey. Dedicate yourself to the most promising, scalable, and controllable venture. By choosing monogamy over polygamy, you accelerate results and reach financial freedom faster. Next, in Chapter 45, Put It Together, Supercharge Your Wealth Plan, DeMarco explains how to combine all Fastlane principles into a cohesive, actionable plan for maximum acceleration and freedom. Chapter 45. Put It Together. Supercharge Your Wealth Plan. DeMarco begins by explaining that all Fastlane principles must be combined into a cohesive, actionable plan. Knowing the commandments, choosing the right road, and accelerating execution is not enough if these elements are disconnected. A clear, integrated strategy ensures maximum efficiency, leverage, and results. He emphasizes that a supercharged wealth plan aligns your destination, vehicle, execution speed, and mindset. It integrates the commandments of need, entry, control, scale, and time with actionable steps for growth. Each decision is filtered through Fastlane thinking, creating value, solving problems, leveraging systems, and accelerating execution. DeMarco highlights practical steps to assemble your plan. Define your financial goals and target lifestyle clearly. Select a scalable business or system that meets real needs. Ensure barriers to entry. Protect your venture and maintain control over operations. Design systems to multiply impact, leverage teams and technology, and free your time. Prioritize actions, eliminate distractions, and focus relentlessly on high-impact activities. He also stresses mindset and consistency. Execution at speed, learning from feedback, and continuous adaptation are as important as planning. Fastlaners combine discipline, focus, and audacity to create exponential wealth. Finally, DeMarco encourages the listener to take immediate action. Review all principles, integrate them into your own Fastlane plan, and start moving decisively. By putting everything together, you supercharge your journey, accelerate wealth creation, and achieve true financial freedom. This completes the Millionaire Fastlane audiobook summary, covering every principle, strategy, and mindset needed to escape the slow lane and live life on your own terms. If you enjoyed this journey through the Millionaire Fastlane and want more life-changing audiobook summaries like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Every week, we break down powerful books into easy-to-follow, actionable insights that can help you grow your wealth, mindset, and success faster. Don't miss out. Subscribe now and turn knowledge into action with our next audiobook summary.